Believe it, it's already springtime. I'm going to use the same format as I did last month, and we're going to deal with clusters and then your advice, okay? And we're going to do the love situation separately. What I'm sensing from the get-go for you is there is opportunities for reconciliation, and I feel it's going to be very positive for you. So be careful about the whole pride situation. If you really care about someone, and if you still want to be with them, it's just important for you to let the pride down, let those walls down, and forgive, forget, and move on. I do feel that overall there might have been some grudges that are held between you and another person, and it goes both ways. But I do feel it would be in your best interest to reach a place of mutual understanding, have some type of a calm discourse with another person. I feel like if they are being immature and if they're being combative, you want to take a step back and you want to let them cool off, okay? But if they are, in general, just approach it with a cool head, is going to go further. But I do feel some reconciliation happening, which will be very, very good for you, by the way. So it's going to be beneficial for all of you. What I'm going to do is the Six of Cups fell out with. Yeah, the Six of Cups fell out with this. I'm going to keep these two because I feel like it's Mercury in retrograde as well. There's somebody coming back from your past, and I feel like it might have been a significant relationship as well, possibly a marriage situation. So let's just see your advice. I'm sensing some completion of karma. And it's very good. Whenever there's completion of karma, it basically means you're starting with a clean slate, okay? So the reconciliation, the way I look at reconciliation, it's not always about reconciliation is not always about like reconnecting with another person. It's basically hash out your differences, taking away the lessons that you have learned from that relationship and moving forward with your life, okay? That's what I feel is happening now, because there's some karma completing itself, and you are going to free yourself from whatever emotional, whatever like karma that was still hanging on from last year, from the previous years, where you feel like you keep running into the same people, into the same roadblocks, and you keep having the same conversation over and over and over again with the same people about the same topics. Those are basically karmic relationships, and they're coming to an end. I feel like it's an end of a cycle happening, and it's going to be very positive, actually. So let's look at the first cluster. We have here the King of Swords, which is going to be automatically about mental processes, about it can also deal with communication and arguments and things like that, because the King energy, it's always somebody who is prepared for battle. Okay, the way this person is depicted, it indicates to me there's some type of strategy, long-term planning that you are going to need to do, and it relates to projects. It relates to with the Ace of Wands. So let me just talk about this first, okay? So the King of Swords is an air sign. So this is an Aquarius, a Gemini, a Libra. This is the energy that they're bringing into the picture for you. You might have some type of new project starting with this air sign, or this air sign is going to give you some very, very good insights when it comes to your own personality, when it comes to the way that you approach. Aces is about passion. It's about the hot-headed energy within us, okay? It deals with ambition as well. So in terms of like the practical front, this is basically thinking about laying down a game plan for your life when it comes to work, when it comes to career, when it comes to travel as well. Thinking about long term, what it is that you're hoping to achieve out in the world, and how you can bring that into the fold. So this is about executing some types of plan, bringing it from the mental plane into the physical plane, but doing so in a very strategic way. So you might encounter an air sign energy that is going to help you with your project. Overall, it's going to be very, very positive. A lot of you, there is, for those of you who are dating and who are in an environment where you're brushing up against this air sign, and I don't know why I said brush up, because I do feel that there's a very, very strong sense of physical attraction coming through between you and an air sign. And it's coming in very strongly. Now, the thing about Virgos, I feel, as an earth sign in general, is that you don't like succumb to passion easily, and especially you don't feel, strong urges, desires, as much as, let's say, a fire sign. But I feel like this person, this air sign, is somebody who's very, very intelligent, and they're sweeping you off your feet mainly because they're very systematic. The way they think is very organized, very logical. They have a wealth of knowledge. They can give you very good advice as well. And I feel like you're starting to come to the point where you respect them. You respect their expertise, their intelligence, and there might be passion that is sparking off as a result of that, because you tend to be very picky with your partner, but this person has a lot to offer. On an intellectual level, they stimulate you intellectually, and as a result of it, I feel like it's just the beginning of passion happening with an air sign, okay? What's coming through as well on the work project? We do have here the Nine of Wands, and the Nine of Wands is a card about taking some time off from a conflict and fighting another day. It's linked up with the Six of Swords. So I feel like for a lot of you, there might have been a fire sign in your life that you're moving away from. Okay. And fire signs are Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries. So there might have been a lot of conflict, a lot of battles had with this fire sign. And as a result of it, you might transition away from somebody who's less explosive, who's less, I would say less passionate. I don't like to say that, mainly because fire signs have a lot of passion, but I feel like it's too fast and it's too combative, and you want a little bit more peace, harmony, stability in your life. So you might be transitioning from a fire sign to an air sign. And fire sign, Sagittarius, Leo, Aries, transitioning to an air sign. The air signs are Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. So I feel like there might be residual conflict with a fire sign. You're being on guard about this. Or there might have been a pattern of recurring like conflict with a fire sign, and you're a little bit jaded when it comes to approaching new people and approaching new relationships, interpersonal relationships overall. So you might be a little bit on guard and a little bit hesitant, okay? However, what I do feel overall is it is an end to conflict because you're taking the smart route. If you've had conflictual like interactions with another person, you're finding a way to move away from it, and you're also in a place where you're not going to let it affect you. You're going to take a preemptive strike by diffusing a situation, by not engaging in conflict and just moving yourself away. So overall, it looks to me to be very positive. In terms of major transitions happening in your life, we do have the Death card as well as the Hierophant. First of all, both of these cards together, the Death card deals with major transformation. The Hierophant deals with modes of beliefs, ways of doing. It can also indicate family situation as well. My first interpretation intuitively when I see these cards is your perception of family, your perception of, marriage, institutions, belief in a work environment, these things are going to change. So for a lot of you, you might have a renewal when it comes to family values. So you might realize that a lot of the things that you were brought up to believe, those beliefs are outdated. And you are going to have to forge new value systems and new beliefs for yourself. A lot of you might be honestly leaving an environment where you are employed under somebody else in a very hierarchical, in a very structured institution. It can be a big company, and you're starting to realize there are so many inefficiencies within that work situation. So then you're moving away from it and you're starting something brand new. You could be starting with a smaller company, or you can be transitioning as well to self-employment, okay? A lot of you this overall can indicate a divorce, walking away from a long-standing, stable relationship where you thought you would get married, or you were living together and acting almost as if you were in a marriage with one another. So it's a long-standing relationship that is no longer serving its purpose, and you are going to have to walk away. So those are the ways in which it can play out. And I do feel for a lot of you, you might have been involved here with a fire sign. Um, there is somebody making a comeback in your life, and this card keeps showing up for all the signs, mainly because we are in the Mercury in retrograde time frame, which brings about a lot of people from your past. You are also very hesitant about exes and people from your past popping back in, because you're done and over and you want to move on, but something keeps drawing you back in. And I feel like if it's a fire sign, it might be somebody who's trying to re-engage you in conflict, and you're not, you don't want that type of conflictual, energy constantly in your life. So you have already moved on, and it feels to me as if they might not have moved on. Okay. I don't feel conflict with the air sign, because I feel like more passion with the air sign, but there is like a deep-rooted relationship, possibly with a fire sign, that you're trying to move away from here with the Six of Cups as well as the Princess of Wands. I feel like this is a brand new energy. What I'm This might be somebody from your past, and I do feel that there is a sense of recklessness about them. I feel like they don't know how to fight fair. They might be a little bit passionate and explosive. They might not know how to verbalize what it is that they're feeling, what it is that they're thinking. They might not know how their actions affect other. So there is a little bit of self-absorbed type of energy associated with this relationship. So you want to, it's a young energy, because the Princess of Wands is usually like a Page of Wands. Page of Wands are a little bit more unreliable. So I do feel this is somebody possibly coming back in from the past that you've moved away from, but they're trying to get your attention, and they're trying to re-engage you in conflict. Okay. In terms of your advice, Virgos, it's funny, Virgo readings are very, very straightforward. It's usually, black, white, yes, no, and it's just pretty directed, which I'm very thankful for, by the way. Um, we do have the Five of Pentacles, the Eight of Swords, and the Eight of Cups. So you have two eights here. And the eights are all about income generating potential and endeavors. So I feel almost as if for those of you who are shifting away from, stable employment with a big company where things are just really annoying and aggravating and people are not pulling their weight, and there's a lot of driftwood just around and it frustrates you. Transitioning to a situation where you are self-employed is going to be very beneficial for you. You have two eights here, which indicates to me as well you have a lot of expertise, know-how. The only thing that you're hesitant about is a lot of the times you like to work behind the scenes. You don't really want to be in the spotlight, but you have very strong work ethics. You have a very systematic way of doing things. So I feel like you would be best in a supervisory role. A lot of the times, it takes me back to this ancient saying, which is that the person that wants to wield power are probably not great leaders, but the ones that don't want it, that they should lead. And I feel like that's what's happening here. You don't want to be in the spotlight so much, but I feel like out of all the people that are vying for that position of leadership, you might be the most suitable one. So it's just kind of like putting your needs for more behind the scenes work. I feel like the spotlight should be shining on you. That's where you're going to make the most difference. It might be uncomfortable at first, but that's where you're going to make a lot of traction. That's where you're going to institute like major structural changes within an organization or within a work environment. So that's what I'm sensing here, because the King of Wands, the King of Swords is somebody who they make the right decisions. They know how to work smart. And I feel like that's what you're doing. You're very, very efficient. And you have some great opportunities coming through for you as well on the work front. So don't worry, okay? I feel some work situation, especially coming through in May. If you're thinking about leaving your current job because you're no longer emotionally satisfied, or you're dealing with combative people at work, it would be very beneficial for you to try to look for some work after the Mercury in retrograde period. Don't get yourself in a situation where you accept a job during Mercury in retrograde and the job description is like nothing um, related to what you're doing. So just be careful about that, okay? What I'm also feeling in terms of the financial situations right now, I feel like there might have been a major, major dip. We have the Five of Pentacles here. Within the past 5 months, there might have been a lot of major, major dips in the financial sector, which could be, just like spending, fixing house, fixing property, just money coming in. So this is the month in which things are starting to stabilize on the financial front. You are getting money that is promised to you or that is coming through, and you're going to save it. So you're going to be very, very cautious about spending as well, which is like which is really good. There might be some, honestly, a lot of you might have been dealing with divorce situation. Assets are being halved as well. So it seems to me as if there might be a little bit of a decline in the way in which you're spending money. You are holding on protectively to your money, and that would be a good move. But I do feel the money situation is not, I don't really worry about Virgos when it comes to spending, especially out of all the signs, Virgos and Capricorn, I don't feel that you're, extravagant spenders. So I wouldn't worry about that. But I do feel that the whole concept about, our own, knowing our own sense of self-worth, not re-engaging into conflictual situations with other people, even when they're like provoking us, that is something you're starting to come to realize for this month, and it is going to be very favorable for you, okay? A lot of the times, with all these three cards telling me, and it's a very similar energy to what I was getting for Aries, so a lot of you might be romantically linked up with an Aries. I'm sensing that it's kind of like, pick your battle. It's basically pick your battle. And I feel like a lot of the times too, and the energy is similar. Aries or the fire signs, they do want to, get their point across and have the last word. Whereas for you, you want the last word. Everyone does in arguments. We have to get our point across. But for you, it's more from like coming from a place of mutual understanding. You want the other person to agree with what you have to say, because a lot of the times you are very reasonable. And it's basically, if there are very, very many jarring differences between you and another person, it basically means they're not on your same wavelength and they're not ready yet at that point in their life to hear those messages that you have to say. So cut your losses, pick your battles, move away from fights that you cannot win. Okay, it's going to be so much better for you, because we can't constantly, teach other people. They have to learn these life lessons on their own. A lot of the times, life lessons don't really hit home until people are at the time in their life, at the right moment, in order for them to hear what it is that the universe is trying to tell them. So just keep that in mind and try to let a situation go that is no longer working. You don't owe them anything. You don't owe an explanation. You don't always need to have the last word. You don't always need to have that sense of closure. With both of these cards, I feel like, the whole karmic situation ending. So let's put them all in perspective, because I feel like everything's going fine in your life. You're moving on. You're in a good spot. But I feel there's a lot of guilt. There's a lot of I feel there's some guilt coming in from your end, and let me just explain this situation. So it seems as if both parties are kind of cast out in the cold. They made a vow to, stick by one another. One party is walking away, and the other person is kind of left wondering, what exactly happened. So I hope you can see it based on these cards. They made a vow to stay together. The karma is done and over with. And sometimes karmic relationships, teach us a lot about ourselves. It deepens our understanding about life, about what it is that we need in order to be happy, and about our purpose in life. So a lot of the times you come together, learn important lessons from other people. A lot of times the relationship might be conflictual as well, because we're all people, we're all very different. And the thing about, I feel like with Virgos is, when a relationship ends, you think that it's a personal failure on your end, because you're perfectionistic. If there's a problem, there has to be a solution. And when you're dealing with other people, there, especially if it's a karmic relationship, there are problems for sure, but maybe sometimes there isn't a solution. But you feel that walking away, you feel like leaving, like walking away without like a solution, you feel like it's a personal failure. So don't get into that, you to move on. The other thing I'm looking at here is, for you or your partner, I feel like someone is walking out and the other person is kind of like left holding the bag without an explanation. If you don't feel you away from you, and you're just like left holding the bag without any type of closure, I do want you to take some time and just, accept the fact that they're gone, and not dwell on the fact that you might need closure, because I feel like something is ending in your life and it's okay to let it go. Because by constantly, cycling through it, expecting them to come back and finding some type of closure, or, you like to make sense of things. You want to figure out why something is this way. And when it comes to dealing with human relationships as well, you take the same approach, which is, why did they walk away? There has to be a logical explanation for it. And when you're dealing with another person, you might not have that type of closure that you're looking for, okay? So let the questions kind of subside for now. The answers will come to you. It will come to you, and when it does, it's not really going to matter that much to you. The bottom line here is, there is some completion of karma. There was a conflictual relationship, and it's being brought to its end. And the end is basically the other person has to walk away. Otherwise, it's going to be a recurring pattern. Okay? So I feel like coming into that conclusion for yourself is going to be the best form of closure that you're going to get, for especially for this month. Okay? Let's look at your relationship situation. So what's going on for Virgos for love? Okay, so actually I'm going to pull out a few more cards for you, because I feel like we have the Death card and the Ten of Swords, and when I see this Ten of Swords, I want to see what it relates to. I don't really, yeah, so it's definitely a marriage ending. I've been seeing that for quite a few months for you guys. So let's talk about, I feel like for a lot of you, there is a marriage ending, or, it's going to end. It has ended very recently. There's still some residual energy of that past person kind of hovering around. There's still some conflictual, lack of closure type of energy. There is still resentment. If the resentment is coming in from your end, try to release it and let it go. And I honestly believe that, sometimes we want answers, but the closure that we need, it comes from within. It's about letting go of that person and accepting the fact, mourning that loss, and, just moving on with our lives. The closure has to come from within. Otherwise, it's not really good closure. Sometimes we want answers, and everybody wants answers, but by looking for answers, soliciting the other person for answers, it basically means you're looking for some type of validation from them, and that's not going to serve you, okay? So closure comes from within. So let's look at this situation here. I definitely feel a relationship is ending here. We have the Four of Wands, Ten of Swords, and the Five of Swords. And this is basically wanting the last word. Four of Wands indicates some type of a family unit that is breaking down as well. With the Ten of Swords, it's a situation where somebody is very significant in your life, possibly making a comeback in your life. And it's a situation where I feel that, for example, if you might have some person that you were in a very significant relationship with coming back in, and it's not going to work. I just want to let you know that, because the surrounding cards indicate to me that situation that was very significant in your life, that person, um, there's like some ego pride issues, and I feel like it can come in from both parties. Ego pride issues, wanting the last word. There's a lot of conflict here. It's not going to work. They're not walking on your same path, okay? So let that go. What I'm also feeling here is the center of the spread, we have the Death card. And the Death card deals with major transformation. So the past is going to be swept away for good. I do feel it is going to be for good. The Death card is also new beginnings as well. There is, I feel like, Virgos, there might be some grudges that you're hanging on to. So release that, because the Death card usually means, letting go of things that we feel have been blocking our own progress. And I feel like there's some resentment here, like grudges, resentment, and try to let that go, especially concerning family members as well as people you were in a significant relationship with, okay? On the other hand, once you are letting that go, there is new relationship that is coming through. We have an earth sign. So, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, crowning this reading, this is somebody that you are significantly thinking about, okay? So in this position, it is somebody who is very financially stable, who is very generous, loving, and giving, and she or he gives a lot of their time, their resources, and they're always very reliable. There is somebody significant in your life that you hold on a pedestal, and I do sense that for a lot of you, I feel that they might have been the one to walk away without an explanation. If this is a new person, then it looks to me to be very stable. However, you have to let go of past baggage in order for you to move on and have a healthy relationship with this person. Because the foundation here is the Ten of Swords, which is a very like, it's kind of like feeling stabbed in the back, feeling as if we give and give in a relationship and nothing comes of it. And you have to let past history go so that you can build new things with new people, okay? What's coming in linked up with the Death card as well? We have here the Queen of Swords, and this is an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. And what it's telling me here is there might have been some major transformation happening with an air sign. And if you want to pursue a relationship with them, I do feel that they've also been through a lot. You both have a very strong common ground in which you can share and understand each other. And I feel that for Virgos especially, you are a very communicative sign. And they say that, water signs and earth signs are good together. But I feel specifically for Virgos, because you're ruled by the planet Mercury, it deals with mental processes. It deals with communication. So you are going to need somebody that you can have the ease of communication with, somebody that can broaden your horizons when it comes to like just chatter, banter, but someone who's very witty. So this is going to be a very good match for you if you are looking to date and you have been through, heavy emotional experiences, and you're kind of shying away from that. I feel like dating an air sign would be right up your alley, because they are going to bring more of an intellectual, detached perspective, and they let you gather yourself, okay? I do feel overall, on the emotional front, especially for those who are single and dating, you are going to be a little bit guarded when it comes to your feelings. You're not going to disclose so much of yourself, and you're kind of like, I'll show you mine after you show me yours. And you're going to build things up very, very slowly because I feel like a lot of you have been hurt, okay? For those who are in stable relationships, um, I feel there might be some family issues, family like values, childhood conditioning, things that we were brought up to believe that might affect the relationship with you and a significant other. So whether or not when you're in a stable relationship like marriage or a monogamous committed relationship, there might be some family issues like family interference, but I feel like it's more conditioning, old ways of doing, old ways of thinking about relationship, marriage, love, intimacy, and things like that are being brought up for questioning. And I feel like the other person might I feel like your partner might you feel like your partner might be a little bit reckless when it comes to relationships. For example, you feel like they might not be too family oriented the way you are, for example. So there might be some different values when it comes to you and a significant other in your life. And these are things that you are going to have to agree upon. I feel that it's really difficult. There's a lot of love here. The only thing here is, do we want to get married or not? Do we want to live together or not? Do we want to live with our families or not? Where do we want to live? So these are like logistical things when it comes to, taking the relationship to the next level. There might be differences in the way that you think in your value system, and I feel like the value system is linked up with the way that you were raised, the household, the family home that you grew up in. So those are like challenges that might potentially come through for those in coupled relationships. You are dating, or if you're in a stable relationship, I feel like for a lot of you, you are dealing with somebody who might be very like, I feel like there's a lot of love here. I feel like there's a lot of love. There's a lot of like equality in your relationships. If you're with an air sign or an earth sign, okay? There's a lot of love, equality, acceptance. It's like it's something built on very strong friendship foundation. So there's a lot of like egalitarian, humanitarian types of values that you're both are bringing to the table. What I feel is lacking though is that one person might want more stability, the other person might not. Or one person might want, you know, like 5 kids, and the other person is just like, let's adopt, like those things. Because it's not about the value or the trust in the relationship. It's more about philosophical, ideological, mental differences between you and another person. But it keeps it interesting. What I do feel is there's a great friendship vibe. So the relationship is built on friendship. If you're dealing with an air sign, you feel like they might be a little bit emotionally blocked, and it's hard to take the relationship, like it's hard to push it forward. But I do feel that they will start to open up. They will start to open up. But whatever situation you've been dealing with the past, make sure that you let go of grudges, resentment, and things like that, and start anew. Okay. I do wish you the best, Virgos. I hope that you enjoy the reading, or at least found it to be helpful. All right. Please take care of yourself. I will be back for the mid-month reading as well. And if you like a private reading with me, please visit my website where you can book an appointment for yourself. I believe I am currently booked. And just make sure you are aware of that, because the calendar will take you automatically to the month that has openings. So